came and went about, momentarily erasing its shape. One of the monster's eyes caught and held and flashed back our immense light. Red, white, like a disc held high and sending a message in Primeval code. It was as silent as the fog through which it swam. It's a dinosaur of some sort. I crouched down, holding to the stairwell. Yes, one of the tribe. But they died out. No, only hid away in the deeps. Deep, deep, down in the deepest deeps. Isn't that a word now? Johnny. A real word. It says so much, the deeps. There's all the coldness and darkness and deepness in a world like that. What do? We get our job. We can't leave. Besides, we're safer here than any boat trying to get to land. That thing's as big as a destroyer, almost as swift. But here, why does it come here? The next moment I had my answer. The foghorn blew, and the monster answered. A cry came across 1,000,000 years of water and mist, a cry so anguished and alone that it shuddered in my head and body. The monster cried out to the tower. The foghorn blew. The monster roared again. The foghorn blew. The monster opened its great-toothed mouth, and the sound came from it was the sound of foghorn itself, lonely and vast and far away. The sound of isolation, of Ulysses, a cold night, apartness. That was the sound. Now, whispered McDoon, do you know why it comes here? I nodded. All year long, Johnny, that poor monster there lying far out, 1,000 miles at sea and 20 miles deep, maybe bidding its time. Perhaps it's 1,000,000 years old. This one creature, think of it, waiting 1,000,000 years. Could you wait that long? Maybe it's the last of its kind. I sort of think that's true. Anyway, here come men on land and build this lighthouse 5 years ago and set up their foghorn and sound it and out toward the place where you bury yourself and sleep and see memories of a world where there were thousands like yourself, but now you're alone. All alone in a world not made for you, a world where you have to hide. But the sound of the foghorn comes and goes, and you stir from the muddy bottom of the deeps, and your eyes open like the lenses of 2-foot cameras, and you move slow. For you have the ocean sea on your shoulders, heavy, but that foghorn comes through 1,000 miles of water, faint and familiar, and the furnace in your belly stokes up, and you begin to rise, slow. You feed yourself on great slakes of cod and minnow, on rivers of jellyfish, and you rise slow through the autumn months, through September when the fog started, through October with more fog and the horn still calling you on. And then late in November, after pressurizing yourself day by day, a few feet higher every hour, you are near the surface and still alive. You got to go slow. If you surface all at once, you'd explode, so it takes you all of 3 months to surface, and then a number of days to swim through the cold waters to the lighthouse. And there you are, out there in the night, Johnny, the biggest monster in creation, and sticking its way up the water, and like a body, your body, and most important of all, a voice like your voice. Do you understand now, Johnny? Do you understand? The foghorn blew. The monster answered. I saw it all. I knew it all. The 1,000,000 years of waiting alone for someone to come back who never came back. The 1,000,000 years of isolation at the bottom of the sea. The insanity of time. When the skies cleared of reptile birds, the swamps dried, in the continental lands, the sloth and saber-tooth had their day and sank in tar pits, and men ran like white ants upon the hills. The foghorn blew. Last year, said McDoon, that creature swam round and round all night, not coming too near, puzzled. I'd say afraid, maybe, and a bit angry after coming all this way, but the next day, unexpectedly, the fog lifted, the sun came out fresh, the sky was blue as a painting, and the monster swam off, away from the heat and the silence, and didn't come back. I suppose it's been brooding on it for a year now, thinking it over from every which way. The monster was only 100 yards off now, and the foghorn crying at each other. As the lights hit them, the monster's eyes were fire and ice. That's life for you, said McDoon. Someone always waiting for someone who never comes home. Always someone loving some things more than that thing loves them. And after a while, you want to destroy that thing so it can't hurt you no more. The monster was rushing to the lighthouse. The foghorn blew. Let's see what happens, said McDoon. He switched the foghorn off. The ensuing minute of silence was so intense that we could hear our hearts pounding in the glass area of the tower. We could hear the slow grease turn of the light. The monster stopped and froze. Its great lantern eyes blinked. Its mouth gaped. It gave a sort of rumble like a volcano. It twitched its head this way and that, as if to seek the sounds now dwindled off into the fog. It peered at the lighthouse. It rumbled again. Then its eyes caught fire. It reared up, thrashed the water, and rushed at the tower, its eyes filled with angry torment. McDoon, I cried. Switch on the horn! McDoon fumbled with the switch, but even as he flicked it on, the monster was rearing up. I had a glimpse of its gigantic paws, fish skin glittering in the webs between the finger like projections. Clawing at the tower, the huge eyes on the right side of its anguished head. glittered. Before me like a cauldron into which I might drop. Screaming, the tower shook, the foghorn cried, the monster cried. It seized the tower and gnashed at the glass, which shattered in upon us. McDoon seized my arm. Downstairs! The tower rocked, trembled, and started to give. The foghorn and the monster roared. We stumbled and half fell down the stairs. Quick! We reached the bottom as the tower buckled down toward us. We ducked under the stairs into the small stone cellar. There were 1,000 concussions as the rocks rained down. The foghorn cried, the monster cried. It seized the tower and gnashed at the glass, which shattered in upon us. McDoon seized my arm. Downstairs, the tower rocked, trembled, and started to give. The foghorn and the monster roared. We stumbled and half fell down the stairs. Quick! We reached the bottom as the tower buckled down toward us. We ducked under the stairs into the small stone cellar. There were 1,000 concussions as the rocks rained down. The foghorn stopped abruptly. The monster crashed upon the tower. The tower fell. We knelt together, McDoon and I holding tight while our world exploded. Then it was over, and there was nothing but darkness and the wash of the sea on the raw stones. That and the other sound. Listen, said McDoon. Quietly, listen. We waited a moment, and then I began to hear it. First, a grave vacuum, sucking of air, then the lament of bewilderment. The loneliness of the great monster folded over upon us, above us, so that the sickening reek of its body filled the air. A stone's thickness away from our cellar, the monster gasped and cried. The tower was gone. The light was gone. The thing that had called it to across a million years was gone, and the monster was opening its mouth and sending out great sounds, the sounds of a foghorn, again and again, and the ships far at sea, not finding light and not seeing anything. But passing and hearing late that night must have thought, there it is, the lonely sound, the lonesome bay horn, all's well. We've rounded the cape, and so it went for the rest of that night. The sun was hot and yellow the next afternoon, when the rescuers came out to dig us from our stoned under cellar. It fell apart, is all, said McDoon gravely. We had a few bad knocks from the waves, and it just crumbled. He pinched my arm. There was nothing to see. The ocean was calm, the sky blue. The only thing that was great algae extinct from the green matter that covered the fallen tower stones and the shore rocks. Flies buzzed above. The ocean washed empty on the shore. The next year, they built a new lighthouse, but by that time I had a job in the little town and a wife and good small warm house that glowed yellow on autumn nights. The doors locked, the chimney puffed smoke. As for McDoon, he was master of a new lighthouse built to his own specifications, out of steel reinforced concrete, just in case, he said. The new lighthouse was ready in November. I drove down alone one evening late and parked my car, looked across the gray waters, and listened to the new horn sounding once, twice, 3, 4 times. A minute far out there by itself. The monster, it never came back. It's gone away, said McDoon. It's gone back to the deeps. It's learned you can't love anything too much in this world. It's gone into the deepest deeps to wait another million years.